Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my peers and subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a part 2 of the previous video, which talked about Maxine Waters and Al Green. In this specific video, it's going to be touching upon that a little bit more. I found it to be really informative towards the end of the video, and I found that both Congresswomen and Congressmen were undergoing a spiritual awakening. Both of them. I kept asking myself, it's a little strange, right? I remember how I talked about a while ago that there was going to be a reverse rapture, like all, if you've seen the shooting star prophecy with Elon, I would recommend you go back into my videos and find that video. I recommend you go watch it. It's called the shooting star prophecy. But in that thing, I talked about how I kept seeing a reversal, and there were spirits going into bodies, and essentially same thing with Congress. And Congress was going to be, if they are soulless, they're going to be embodied by a negative entity. But there are those who have a soul and who are going into their soul purpose. And I keep getting the sensation, while as I was reading the previous video, I kept getting the sensation that there is there's something divine about it that is intervening in some way. And so I thought maybe we should go touch upon it and see if we can explore this topic a little bit more. I don't know exactly what we're going to get, but I keep getting a sense of calmness. When you start to think about divine and divine intervention, you feel like a sense of calmness in your solar plexus, your sacral, and your root chakra. You feel like everything's going to be okay. You feel like a sense of understanding. So I'm going to explore that. I want to see what you guys think as well, if you guys get that information as well. But let's explore that. Let's see what the guys say. Let's see if we get anything from that. Today's video is going to be about the woolly mammoth and all those. We'll save that for another time. But today's video is being recorded on none other than Thursday, March 6th at 1:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as of when I am recording this specific video. So the other video has been uploaded. It's going to be released tonight. I'm hoping this video will be released tonight. If it's not, it's going to be released Friday morning. So it's one or the other. But we will see what happens. But I do get that there is going to be information that could be so crucial, so important. So let's explore this. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the cards show. If you want to help out this channel, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting the bell icon, watching the video longer than normal, or even commenting in the comment section below. All those forms of engagement help the channel algorithm and be able to show this message to other people, but also allows you to be able to be notified when I do post and upload. Now, if you have been noticing that YouTube has either been deleting your comments or has not been notifying you when I do post and upload, do not worry, I do have a solution. Go into my description, follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, and you yourself can be notified when I do post and upload next. Alright, so let's begin. We have a lot to get through today. I kind of want to talk about more so about the spiritual aspects. And we don't know exactly what's coming up. It could be 45, and we can get, there's a battle of light versus good. And I talked about this before, how there was going to be a battle. And if we didn't meet the battle or manifest in the physical, I think we got into the point where, spiritually speaking, where the light and the good could no longer battle, and there were like trenches, and they just can't seem to move from one direction or the other, so it manifests in the physical, and we're going to start to see the light versus the good, the light versus the evil start to take place in here on the planet Earth. And we talked about this before, so if you have not watched, a lot of videos revolving around light and dark, recommend you go and do so. So let's go ahead, let's check this out, let's see what's going on, and we go from there. I'm just keeping an open mind, because you know what? You gotta keep an open mind. You never know what's gonna come up, right? Even I was shocked. This video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only. Anything I do or say just for a legend. That's it. All right, so let's go and see Spirit Angels. How do we do this? Okay, so tell me to start with the right away, and we go from there. Is this the right position? Okay. All right, so Spirit Angels tell me, the topic. The topic is revolving around, are people in Congress becoming spiritually and psychically aware? Are they entering into their spiritual awakening? This is what's going on in Congress. I'm hearing no. They're being possessed. Okay. Now, I talked about there being two different types of possessions. You guys all are familiar with one possession, you're not familiar with the other possession. So there are two different ways that one individual can be possessed. Remember the light versus the dark. Now, I was planning to really discuss this in another video revolving around when I met a Nazi, when I was with one of my clients, and the soul and the spirit of the Nazi soldier came through the screen into my room, in my studio at the time. I really want to do a video on that, so I think we're going to have to talk about that very soon. So definitely expect a video like that. But to really, in hindsight here, to really understand the gravitational force and understand the gravity of such a situation, there are two different types of possession. The first possession is the first one, which is one that we are all familiar with. A dark entity enters the soul of an individual and makes them do bad things because that individual represents dark energy, that they embody themselves, they dwell on that darkness. There's another one. Another one is a possession. This person can be of the light or of the dark. But the entity itself is of the light intention. So what does that mean? The light intention essentially is when this person takes possession and this entity takes a possession of an individual, they essentially not only take the darkest individual, they make that person do the right thing, despite the individual not actually doing the right thing had they had the free choice or will. So essentially, they take a possession of someone, they involve themselves spiritually into a physical body, and they make them do good things because in the past they didn't do really good things. And by making them possessed in some way, they're able to not only make them do good things, but they're also simultaneously able to heal their own soul, the spirit. The spirit is able to heal their own past and karmic energy, because this is a soul contract here. But also, they're also able to heal the body in which they embodied and whatever they took over. So, for example, just say, to put it in perspective and make you understand, because please in no way think that this is true or accurate in any way, because it's not. I'm just taking an example of somebody you guys are all familiar with. This did not actually happen to them. 45. Take 45 for example. Right, he has a very dark history, very negative. He's involved himself with a lot of dark things, dark energies, and all those things. And a person of the light with light intention goes inside of 45 and they make him do good things. Right? They heal the dark energy from within him, his karmic, but also they heal the soul because they're helping two souls at the same time. That is more karmically, um, karmically releasing than anything else that an individual can do. So there's two different ways of possession. The first possession, which means a dark entity enters into an individual who is vulnerable, who has been involved in dark entities and dark energies. The second possession is someone of a light intention who goes into a physical body of a darker entity or darker person, and they make them do good things, and it heals not only the person, the physical person, with the soul that's tied to that body, but also the soul that possesses that body. So there's two different ways, and hopefully I can be able to make you understand it. But I understand if you don't understand, so just let me know in the comment section below. I will try my best to help you understand it, but I will do a video on that in more detail sometime very soon. But I hope that I was able to give you a little bit of an understanding about how the two possessions work. Does not mean I endorse the idea of you getting possessed or allowing other people to be possessed. Probably not the best idea, but it does happen, and that's how it works. There is two different ways. You only get told the first way, you're not getting told the second way. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's take a look here. The first card we comes up is the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is coming up here as possession. That's the first thing about the King of Pentacles. No, this is not somebody going through a spiritual awakening. So I was wrong in the other video. I talked about a possession of something. Like they... And I want you to know that 45 reference was not real. Like that was just like an example. But the King of Pentacles here is telling me that the two congresswomen, the congresswoman and the congressman that I talked about in my previous video, Al Green and Maxine Waters, they were possessed in light intentions, right? And here we have the Three of Cups, right? There's a healing energy. I wonder if one of them had two souls or two entities inside them trying to make them do the right thing. Not saying that they did bad things in the past, because remember, the light intention and the intention of it, it could be also going to a person with higher positions of power. So, for example, the dark energies and dark entities that we talked about, right? The dark energies of someone involved around themselves and making them do good things doesn't mean that the individual and what they possess doing bad things. It might be the job or the position that they currently hold that is of a darker vibration, and they make that rise up to a lighter vibration. So I hope that is able to make you understand a little bit more in terms of understanding the frequencies and how it doesn't need to be the individual, it could be the job or the position, the power that you hold that can create the most change. So that's what they desire for that. Here again, we have that Three of Cups here. It means that there is more than one entity in some of these individuals. And they're trying to make them to have harmony and balance and make them do the right thing. Here we do have as well, we do have the Eight of Cups that's being counterbalanced by those of a darker entity who are possessing those who are the most vulnerable to those entities. So they're saying here is that there are two different entities. So there's one people who are being possessed by the light intentions, and there are those who are being possessed via possession by dark entities and dark energies. So to put that in perspective here, we have almost like 65, I'm getting 65, 63% of Congress being possessed by dark energies, dark entities, dark thoughts, and a true possession. And then there's a small percentage, roughly around 40, 39%. I'm getting 38 or 37. I'm also getting 36. So it's a very low percentage, but of them getting possessed by the light intention, which is someone of a higher vibrational energy, an entity go into the body of someone of a lower vibration and raising not only their body vibration higher, but also the soul that possesses them higher as well. So it helps everybody in that aspect. So there is a sense of battle here between the spiritual sense in Congress. And on the top of the deck here, we have the Ace of Swords. No one won the battle. The battle's not over, which makes a lot of sense because when you start to see the placement or where the cards are going, we have the Ace of Swords reversed, was folded in reverse of the King of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. Now, the bottom of the deck here, we have the Hanged Man, which is that darkness energy, and it's saying that something is being reversed. But what is the future card here? What is the outcome of all this? We have the Two of Cups. Some of these people who had the light intention were agreed upon this within the soul contract. But also, there are also those who are of the dark intention who have to make it a choice to either allow those dark entities to stay within their bodies or to allow them to be expelled. And that is part of their soul contract, it's part of their karma. It's to understand that they themselves, that they don't understand what is going on to their body, they need to be able to expel. If they don't expel it, the body physically could just only, hold on. So just like I said, you can raise the frequency of an individual's body by possessing it through light intentions. But the dark entity who is actively possessing somebody because of their vulnerabilities can make them of a lower vibration, making them darker and more vulnerable to more entities and more possession. So what is that saying? What the Two Cups saying here is that the individual who is more vulnerable to that energies needs to be able to expel them out because that's just part of the karmic future, the karmic path is to experience that they're going to go down darker and darker ways. But they need to be able to expel that out of them in order to go into the light, in order to experience light intention. They need to expel that. If they don't expel that, then they themselves will embody the dark entity and which consumes them. So that is what I'm getting in terms of energy. This could also be emotions as well. Remember, this is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Swords. This is the Seven of Swords. This means stealing something, like taking something away from individual. This is the body of the individual. This is the strength. This is the physical, right? The physical strength. It's the coalescing, the peace between the soul and the mind, and the soul and the body. It's being stolen, right? Regardless of how you look at it, it's being taken over in some way. Whether it's within good intention or whether it's within bad intention, it's still being taken in some way. I find it to be really interesting and very informative that this is where we're at right now. This is not what I expected. But it makes a lot of sense. It makes us understand how people do certain things and that we're starting to see the light versus the evil starting to manifest here in the physical, especially in the capital. There's no better way to really initiate and talk more about it than the energy, the frequency. So let's take a look at the energy and the frequency of all this, and then we go from there. All right. So Spirit Angels, tell me about the energy and the frequency of the possession taking place in Congress, the light versus the evil. Now, this could be just a mere manifestation of someone's emotions and their connection to their beliefs. So it doesn't actually need to be a physical possession. It could be something of an emotional sense. Yeah, because we have here a man holding the coin, a man holding the cards, right? Again, a man holding the cards, kind of giving me 45 vibes, like those MAGA Republicans. And then we have here hostilities, which means there's a fight, there's a battle, which is represented here in hostilities. The next card here, which is the 19, which is rest and rejuvenation. It's no rest, and it's a pure battle, like it's the fight till the end. And what will be that outcome here? What is this outcome, Spirit? What is the outcome? Okay, that's way too many cards. Way too many. So we're not taking that. But what's the card that came out? We have here appreciation. Right? Appreciation is reversed. They're not appreciating what's happening. And we have here indecision. The decision is being made on their behalf. So because something is not being followed correctly, something needs to be changed and altered in order to go right onto the path in which the United States has agreed upon according to its founding. So what is this saying here? It's saying here that, for example, have you ever noticed what Spirit has told you and has indicated to you that you should leave something, you should not do something, and you are stubborn, you don't listen, you don't follow, you just kind of do whatever you want and you don't care what the consequences are of it? Well, essentially what Spirit is essentially saying is that when you don't listen, they will intervene in some way and they will force you out by all means necessary, or they will push you on the path that you are meant to be on. That's just guides. Your guides are supposed to push you on your path. The United States actually, ironically enough, has spirit guides that protect the integrity of the United States. And that is via the soul contract. So what is really interesting in what I'm seeing here is something that I've never been seen before, is that because of these possessions, there are forces at work. There are the dark entities and the dark entities that are trying to possess vulnerable individuals, and there are the light intention, which are those who are trying to possess people with the most influence to create the most change in the positive way. And because of those two dynamics that play here, what it is saying is that the dark entity, the dark vulnerability, are trying to keep the timeline that we are currently in, whereas those of the light entity are trying to shift us back into the timeline where we originally came from. That is what's happening. There's that decision, and when you don't make the right choice, right? The man holding the coin, right? I said that reminded me of 45 when he said, "No, you don't have the cards. We hold the cards." Right? The man holding the coin is saying that they hold the future, but they're saying, "No, no, no. You may have made the decision, but it's not final. It's not final." And what is that outcome? What is that new decision that's going to be made? What is the hijacking by Spirit is going to do? Where is it going to lead us now? Where is this new hijacking by Spirit going to lead us? Whether it's for the good or for the bad. Can you tell us, Spirit? We have here seven chakra Archangel Uriel. I speak to Archangel Uriel. I do interact with them a lot. So let's see, Archangel Uriel, can you respond, please? Angel of Balance, 48. Angel of Balance. So that's where we're headed. We're trying to balance the temperance, right? If you watched my other video before, we talked about temperance coming towards the end, right? The peace, the tranquility. They are intervening to bring a sense of balance because they understand that there's the defeat. The seat that is being taken place here. I don't like this card, so I'm not going to show you this. I don't really like the energy. But it's the seat that's being taken place. And that is the energy of balance versus the seat. And it's Archangel Uriel telling us that this is where they want us to be, but this is where they want us to stay, right? It's the divide of the 3D versus the 5D dimension. And what's the top of the deck here? We have the woman holding a heart, right? 44, the woman holding the heart. And the love, the passion, the appreciation. What's the bottom? The door to romance, right? The heart is chained and locked up. If you watched my video a long time ago, we've seen this heart came up for Harris, right? But it came up upright. That's saying that the heart, the love, has been locked. That she couldn't move, that she couldn't do anything. But it's saying don't feel that anymore because the heart is in the beginning. The soul of America has been initiated. The soul of the United States has been initiated. There's a lot more to the story. There's a lot more to really unravel here. And I'm going to take my whiteboard, what I have right here, my lovely little beautiful whiteboard, to really explain in a way in which I think you guys might be able to understand it. Again, if you have any questions, you can always let me know in the comment section below, and I will do my very best to help you. I don't like the way that sounded. Anyway, so imagine these two black dots on this whiteboard. They're both representative of Earth, right? Now, if you are familiar and you are familiar with how metamorphosis works and how the blood cells and the baby cells work, we're going to use that as a metaphorical here. So, for example, we all know. Alright, so this is going to be biological, for example. This is going to be biological. It's telling me to do this instead. So, this is what we're going to do. Okay. You're going to know exactly what I'm talking about in 1 second. Okay. Okay, so you see this, exactly what you think, right? This is the sperm, and this is the egg. Why you're going to ask yourself, Chris, what does this have to do with anything? This has a lot to do with Earth. Everything works the same way. So now, when this, say for example, the sperm fertilizes the egg, it starts the reproduction cycle. It starts the production cycle of the cells dividing and making an individual. Now, why is that important and why is that significant? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Ignore the 2 black dots, that's not important. Okay, so let's say this circle now, which has just been fertilized, right? It now divides into another cell, right? And it keeps dividing and dividing and dividing into multiple cells, right? And it becomes a baby, it becomes a child. Now you're probably asking yourself, Chris, what does this have to do with anything? Because you see this right here? This is the old, right? This is the old one. This is the old cell. This is the new cell. I can't really do it. This is the new cell. This is the old cell, right? This is the original. This is the This is the carbon copy. This is the copy. This is the original. This is the copy. Why is it important? Because it's important because when you start to look at how Earth operates and how Earth works, let's make you understand it in a way which you can understand it. Okay, for here, this is Earth, right? This is planet Earth. Right, this is planet Earth, right? Earth is now in the dividing period. You probably are familiar with the 4th dimension, the 4th dimensional energies, right? The new frequencies, the new change, the new energies, right? We go from a blue, which is kind of a cold energy, right? But we go into a greener energy, which is all about love, the heart, the passion, the appreciation, right? Why is it important? Because Earth is dividing to 2 different ways. It's dividing from the old, the original. It's dividing from the original, and it is transferring into the green, which is the new outcome, the copy, right? But it's separating. In between that, we have what's known as the 4th dimension. The reason why nobody said, oh, let's go to the 4th dimension. You can't go to the 4th dimension because the 4th dimension is the energy and the advancement between the 2. It talks about this mere separation from the original to the next one, which is the 5th dimension. This is the 3rd dimension, which means 3-dimensional object. This is 5-dimensional object, which means the 4th dimension here, which is the spiritual realm. Right? The spiritual realm is here. This is the 5th dimension. This is the physical. This is the physical. The 3rd dimension means physical. This means beyond the physical, right? This means beyond the physical. So now you talk about dragons. We're going to talk about dragons in another time and how dragons are essential to this. You know, you won't be able to see certain things from the physical in the 5th dimension and vice versa. That is why it's very important. I don't know what the purpose of that was, but I feel like there was a purpose. But I hope that makes a little bit of sense and understanding how everything's working. We are going to talk more about it and how it's going to affect me and you going forward in the future. We'll talk about that when it gets there. Trust me, we'll talk about that. I have a whole entire whiteboard in the basement, and I will have my own chair, and I will just sit down and just explain everything to you. It's a lot harder to do it in a bathroom. But anyway, let's see. We're going to use this beautiful deck, which is the Butterfly Tarot deck, which is the Oracle card, excuse me. And it talks about life changes. Right? This is interesting because it talks about the life changes in Congress. The Spirit Angels tell me about the changes happening in Congress right now. Can you explain that? Can you explain it in a way in which we can understand it? Because it seems like there's a spiritual change. There's a redirection of course here on planet Earth, especially in the U.S. What's going on? We're going to find out right now. The first card that we get here is volunteer. Right? So these are people who volunteer to do something. What are they volunteering to do? healthcare change, right? They're volunteering to make some sort of change for the health of the nation. And here, because of their body changes, we talked about them, they're trying to change the frequency of individual bodies, whether they're trying to lower it or trying to raise it. Again, there's the light and bad trying to be in dynamic here. It's talking about this. It's talking about this volunteering, right? They're trying to change it for the better. They're trying to raise the vibration. There's that separation. There are those who are of the lower vibration, who are vulnerable. Their world, their perspective is going to start to stay darker and it's going to keep going darker. But there are also those who have the lighter intentions who are going to possess those to bring us into a new timeline, a new era. And with that, Spirit, tell me, and it falls right on the seat. And what is challenging this? Does the seat leaving, right? Them wanting to leave, right? That's the challenge, is whether or not we're going to be able to get the seat to leave. The fool, the trickery. And final card here, Spirit Angel, a spiritual change is upon us within the United States and the U.S. Congress. What's the card that best represents the U.S. Congress in this future? We have your sobriety, right? When you are sober, you have a connection. You're able to see things that you did not see before because you were too drunk to see what was in front of you, right? And on the past side here, take the next step now, which is in the past, which means they have taken the next step. They have taken that step, right? And what's the outcome here? We have relationship dynamics. Something about to change in Congress, and it has to do with the relationship dynamic. And the ending card here talked about dietary change, a change in the way things function, the way things function in Congress. So there is definitely a change coming. I do feel that entirely. You guys let me know what you think. I mean, this has got to be one of the weirdest topics, but I've been saying that like every time I say this is weird, there's always one that always outshines the other. So I'm sure there's going to be another weird one along the way. So Spirit Angel, tell me about Congress and the spirituality and its massive changes between light and dark. Can you tell us a little bit more about the energies here? Okay, there's two yellows. What one? Tower. A change is coming in the tower. Can you give us a little bit white? We have here, you cannot hide because you will be exposed. Okay. In less than a year. So it makes sense. It's going to be less than a year. We're talking about pretty much now. And it just feels like a lot of these are crazy things are happening. This just seems so bizarre. This seems so bizarre to me. And here we have air, light. And Spirit Angel tell me, now that we know that you're talking about, the air, and less than a year from now they cannot hide, and the tower moment is upon Congress, spiritually speaking, and there is a reckoning that's coming for Congress. Can you tell us a little bit more about whether or not it's going to be for the good or for the bad? Because it seems to be that we're heading into two different timelines, and they're starting to diverge now. Can you tell us where we, as a collective, those, me and my people included, where are we headed? This one? Oh, look, another card came out. We have here non-white, which means black. Okay, and we have here all that can and will be. All that can and will be. And what is this card here? What will and all can be, which means write your own story. Interesting. So it's telling us here that we are all going into different ways. We're going to different outcomes. We're going to different paths. Non-white, black. Sometimes in blackness there is light. It depends on what your perspective is and how you want to see it. But it's saying essentially here is that all that can and will be, and write your own story. It's saying that all of us here have a way for us to move forward into our own timeline. Not all of us are going to go together, which it seems to be, but we can all go together if we want to go the same direction, and whether or not we want to go into that sense of balance or you want to stay in that energy of the seat. That is entirely up to you. But again, this was very weird. This is not what I expected for a reading. Is there anything else you want to tell us? Okay. They told me I covered exactly what we needed to cover. I guess there was a reason for this video. Trust the universe. I gotta trust the universe that this was the reason why I did this video. So I'm gonna trust that, and that would be it. And it's interesting too because you go back into my channeling in the book here, the second channel, and it makes a lot of sense why we would do this type of video. Because December 31st, 2024, channel messages at 2:16 Eastern Standard Time, and it says here, happiness will plague the world, while others will live in desolate of such plague. World leaders will be submission to all that can and will be. Right? If you are a leader of your own life, you will be subjected to this. Health will be sought by those who want it, and open vast to wisdom and faith. Kings will fall, not one, but by the many. A new faith will emerge and reignite a passion in others. Doesn't mean it has to be of a religious base. Diplomacy will not be of this earthly plane anymore, but by the many planes of existence. We talked about this just now, and now it starts to make a little bit more sense. Hate will fill those who lack understanding of the world that they live in. Robots of the future for that nation no longer needs to create souls, but rather they can be co-joined with that of the non-earthly plane, a truth, if you will. Okay, so it's all starting to make a lot of sense why all this information came in. The economy shall roar one last time this decade of the century. The globe will experience a sense of peace for a moment, a breath, if you will, before a coming of age. A future that will define a decade and generation. A war, perhaps. This war shall come at a time when we least expect it to. He's your warning of the, quote, the exiles. Many will survive and live to tell the tale of what has become before us, a life of bliss before the kiss. A Nostradamus of this time will write the next chapter of mankind. May you heed his warning, for that I have made him to free you of the burden of this earthly plane. His prediction will become more accurate in this new age, as the old ones are of an old timeline, not this one. We shifted. Trump shall be the trumpet that blows the new whistle of the age. For that I have created him in this time to usher in the new age of darkness and of light. Harris shall seek a new path towards the presidency, for that she shall become. Biden will be known for his tranquility, stability, and peace in a time of upheaval. The Carters represented an old way of doing things, being good to humanity and expecting nothing in return. Rest assured, he has a very important role to play in the evolution of the United States and the world. Hillary's important role is to show you the struggle of the new age of Aquarius for women. Not all will be easy, we never said it would be. Animals of the world shall receive a level up of consciousness and awareness due to the art of science and cloning. A new land will be discovered and one may emerge from darkness. Further shaping what we thought we knew of our world will shift within the new discoveries. New land animals will be discovered, including a colorful bird that looks more like its ancestors than any bird known today. A new life will once again breathe its way through animals that do not exist, or exist. They will be successful. A planet will be discovered that holds the breath of life, similar life forms here on Earth, before humans' arrival. It will be known as the Jurassic Galactic, a blast from the past into the modern age. This may be a planet of Earth free from the it may be the planet of Earth from the past into the future. Through light years, all stars may die, but light always lives on. Earth is no different, as it is a star in itself for all other life forms. A tunnel or a bridge will have been found that was once buried and forgotten, used by ancient cultures like the Incas and Romans. End of channel at 3:11 Eastern Standard Time on December 31st, 2024. So you can see that here, that it's channeling. Do I need to do this one? They're telling me to do this one and we'll end the reading. Okay, this one was on January the 9th, 2025. Channel messages at 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as of when I channeled this specific message. It says here, peace shall collapse in certain parts of the world. Faith has and will be renewed, but not all is that of religion, but rather in those who have lost faith in the home that they lived in. So we're talking about the home, whether it's in your country, whether it's in your actual physical home. There's a lot of what home means. Ask yourself what it means to you. An epidemic is on the horizon, for that this ink shall be the thickest with truth. Trump will do something that will blow away the left, then the right. Shockwaves will be felt across the world, both physical and that of the metaphysical. Many psychics shall fall in this time, for that they were not created for this new age. But when the new age after this one, many will be back with a new profound place in the world. Harris will go on to win the 2028 election if she chooses to seek it. For that, the presidency is already hers. Republicans will fall to the hate that consumed them. Inauguration Day will be a day of reckoning for the many. Many will go as many will stay. There is no fraud in this election, with the mere exception of manipulation, in whatever form that they decided to do it in. So we're talking about like coding, right? It doesn't have to be physical. It could just be the coding system and doing all that. So I'm not saying it's not technically fraud. There was manipulation in that, and therefore that was enough to cause the change in the election. It's still fraud in definition, but they wanted to make sure that they got the right word in here. So just make sure you understand that there was, but it's the wording. Congress will decertify the result in due time, but not in when. Oh no, excuse me. Congress will decertify the result in due time, not in which when he is still alive. For that he will be stripped of his number and title and considered illegitimate. 3 impeachments will befell the next president, for that he had already committed 2 major crimes outside the scope of being in office. He sold them out and gave documents away. Fraud will be found on the phone of a nearby foreign adversary. So that is where the fraud will be found. That's why it makes sense. The fraud could not be in the election, had to be found on a foreign adversary. Harris may take her rightful place, but not before she finds and meets a young male. Tim Walz is not likely to become vice president, as we have other plans for him. A major political figure, a woman, will die. One of which saved democracy when it was called to do so. May she be remembered as the hero. Many women will lose their rights so that they themselves can be prepared and ready to usher in the first woman president. Gays will suffer at the helm of Orange. I made this so that he himself could seek the highest office. So what it's saying here that there will be a gay male or someone who's of the LGBTQ community will be seeking the presidency sometime in the future, and it's going to be because of 45 that ushers that individual in. Many Latinos will be deported, and the age of reconstruction will begin. Trust that all is in divine order, and that I have created this so that the desired outcome could be met and reached. Those were the soul contract and must be fulfilled. Many good things will come of this decade, but be overshadowed by the evil that consumed the media. Trumpets can only be blown once, but that Trump had already used it up in 2016. The end of the challenge at 3:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so that is the challenge. I think that is where we're going to leave off for right now. This is probably one of the weirdest videos and probably not the weirdest one yet. So here's 2 more weird ones in the future. Until then, guys, I love you. Have a great night. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye.